How do you typically deal with setbacks in your life? Do you take it as a lesson and keep moving forward, or do you stay where you're at? Well, in today's episode of The Stories We Carry, I'll be speaking with a fellow officer who talked about a major shift in her career and how it brought her to where she is today. Let's get into it.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to The Stories We Carry, where we are focusing on the Behind the Badge series. I have my girl, Officer 𝐲𝐞 here with me. She's going to be joining us to share her story and her experience as an officer. So, 𝐲𝐞, thank you so much for coming on here.
No, thank you for asking me to come on here.
Really? How did you feel when I first asked you to get on here? Were you nervous?
I was very nervous. I was like, she wants me? Like, why does she want me?
Why? You have such a good, I think, perception and perspective of what, becoming an officer, like the way that you started.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
And even then, just like your personality, I love you. What do you mean?
I know.
Well, okay, so I actually just found out today, you told me that you're from Alex City.
Yes.
How did you get here to this area?
So I was born and raised in Alex City. I mean, I've graduated high school there.
Yeah.
I started coming to Southern Union in Opelika.
Uh-huh.
So I started living in like a rental house in Opelika for a little while, and then I really like the area. Really? I don't know what drew me to the area.
I know,
I really
because
like
it's
it,
not
but
really like, I would say the same thing.
But I mean, compared to Alex City, at least
I went there
back
twice,
in the day.
Twice.
I mean, if you blink, you're out of it. Like, you go through 280, and you blink, and the city's done.
They have a Home Depot and was it a Walmart, like a neighborhood market Walmart?
They have a regular
size
Walmart.
Okay.
Now, granted, since I've moved from there, they have a whole bunch of stuff. Like, they got,
okay.
I think they have a Starbucks now.
Oh, okay.
I know they got Chick-fil-A now.
Well, there's a Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. Forget about it. You're made the market. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, I mean, they are growing. And they got a lot more stuff now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm proud of them. But personally, I would never move back there. It's just...
That's your past.
Yeah.
And where you are right now is where you're happy.
I'm all for moving forward and not trying to stay back.
Okay, so when you graduated high school, what'd you do next?
I went to Southern Union for a little while.
What'd you study?
So I was just doing like I was wanting to do criminal justice.
Okay, so you always wanted to do criminal justice. Okay.
Yes, but it just was not a good time. Like I pressured myself so much through school, like to do the best through high school and everything.
Yeah.
That I burned myself out.
Really?
And so I didn't finish.
You were mentally drained at that point.
I was.
When did you drop out?
I think I did like a year. So I only had like a year left.
Yeah,
but I just couldn't do it anymore.
When you're in that point where you just, that mental breakdown in school, because school really isn't for everybody. Yeah. So you never went back?
No, I was in a really crappy relationship at the time.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh,
so,
that has a really big effect.
It was really bad. So,
okay, so you took care of yourself in the way you took yourself out.
Yes.
You got rid of the bad relationship. You got rid of the schooling.
And I moved to Dothan for 8 months.
What? And I didn't know that. You lived in Dothan?
I sure did.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Seriously?
Yes. I moved to Dothan for 8 months, and I got away from everybody because I didn't know anybody really down there.
Yeah.
And this was because I started working for Home Depot when I was a senior in high school at the Alex City store.
Oh.
So then when I moved to Opelika, during like the summer of 2016, I just transferred. So I was like, hey, Dothan has a Home Depot, so I just transferred there.
So you were bebopping from Home Depot.
I sure was.
Wow.
I moved back to the Opelika area on Christmas of 2018.
Why'd you leave? If you liked it, Dothan. I
was ready to come back.
Okay, so you had your experience?
I just completely disconnected from my family and everything, pretty much, while I was there.
Is that after you left your relationship and all these things?
Yes, I just needed
some time away.
Yes, and it was the best thing.
I mean, you had nothing holding you back, essentially.
Nothing.
I can't believe you did that through Home Depot.
I sure did.
So you asked for a transfer, they took you right away?
Of course. Now, so it was crazy. They didn't take me right away. So I forget this. So I was living.
Put a pin in it.
I was living in Dothan.
Yeah.
And I was still having to work at the Auburn Opelika store. So I was driving 2 hours one way. I was so dedicated, dude. I was driving 2 hours one way, and I was still part-time. Like, they wouldn't give me full-time yet.
Oh my gosh.
And then finally, I walked into the Dothan Home Depot and I spoke to, they call them the ASDS, but it's their HR.
Okay.
And I spoke to him and I said, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get over here.
I live here.
I live here now.
Yeah.
I've lived here for 2 to 3 weeks now. I've been doing this, driving back and forth. He got me in the store the next day.
Wow. So you put yourself out there.
Because my store, I don't know if they just didn't want to lose me or what.
Yeah.
But they didn't send my stuff over.
How'd you find that out?
Through him.
Oh, because they never had it.
Yeah. He never had my stuff. He said, I've never heard of you. And I said,
my
well,
God.
that would explain it.
Thank you so much. Are you serious?
Yes.
So you had to put yourself out there and essentially go ahead and crack the code, and you did.
And there would be some nights I would be driving through, I'd never forget, because Eufaula would be like my hour checkpoint. I'd always stop at this one gas station.
That's not the, no, what's that part where it smells so bad?
And that's up, oh God, I forget what it's called.
It's like a wheat factory. I passed through that twice.
Yeah.
It smells terrible.
Yes, because there's like a paper factory and then there's a yeast factory.
Yeah.
When we were coming back from the beach, like a couple weeks ago, we went through there and my wife was like, this is awful. What is this? And I said, oh, I'm used to it. I used to take this drive all the time.
It's
like
terrible.
I'm used to it.
So what was your schedule over there?
It varied. Most of the time I'd close though.
2 hours?
Mm-hmm.
You were closing?
Yeah, so sometimes I'd get off at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
And you weren't head bopping on the way back?
Mm-mm.
Wow, you were dedicated.
Head bopping to music. That's about it.
Oh my! So you've always been a hard worker. Okay, now I'm
I
wondering.
don't know about that, but I try.
What? How could you say no? At least the way that, in 2 hours, maybe I'm not driving I live 10 minutes from work. Who's driving 2 hours? Not I. So a drive from where you're at right now is nothing.
Oh, it's nothing.
Nothing.
I love it.
Yeah. And you finished that Dothan and you came back.
Yep, and then I transferred back.
How long were you there?
About 8 months.
Before you came into OPD. And how did you get into the...
Well, are you talking about when I transferred back?
When you transferred back.
So I transferred
how long
back.
Did it take you back to get to the police department?
In 2018, and then I started working for the police department August 1st of 22.
Wow. But you were treated good in Home Depot.
Yes, I ended up becoming a supervisor and stuff.
Really?
Shortly after. It was, I think, May or June of 2019 that I got promoted as supervisor.
Why? I mean, I can see why.
I needed that to go away in Dothan to come back. I mean, even my store manager, she was like, you're like a new person. I said, I know, I needed it.
Yeah.
And so, it was great.
The disconnection was something that you absolutely needed.
I needed that.
That's so good for you.
And it wasn't, like, specifically my family. I just needed to
You wanted
disconnect
to restart.
with everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, that's so... Gosh, so many people are scared of that.
Oh, I know.
Do that. And you just did it.
I know.
That's so
I've even...
awesome.
There's people I've told, just do this. Find somewhere. Move away.
Hey, man.
Move
disconnect.
away.
Get rid of... Change your identity. If you could.
Move away.
Yeah.
It was great.
Man, so how did you get your foot into the door to the police department?
So...
Because you didn't start right away as an officer.
No. So, a lady I used to work with, I don't know if I can say her name. I'm just not going to say her name.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it, no.
She probably wouldn't want me to.
Yeah.
She started working for the police department.
Yeah.
But me and her had worked together at Home Depot for, maybe like 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
She was actually my supervisor at one point in time.
Wow.
And then I became a supervisor. And
that's
so
cool to know your guys' roots.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so she knew, like, I've always wanted to either be a nurse or a police officer.
A nurse?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
I had a full-ride scholarship at UAB.
Excuse me?
Yes.
How are you not going to mention that in the beginning? What? Why didn't you go?
There's so much. A whole bunch of family stuff happened.
Wow.
And there was a lot of things going on. My dad had just died. He died when I was a
no.
senior in high school. And there was so many things going on that...
Oh, sweet baby.
I felt like I couldn't leave.
You felt
to go do that.
Trapped. Oh my gosh, do you think that's why that pushed you to that's it, I didn't leave this time, I'm leaving now?
That probably, that was part of it. That
How
I just
was
needed
it? Did you go
get
to
out.
Therapy or anything like that when your father passed away?
I didn't. I probably should have, but I didn't.
So how'd you process that? Were you close to him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's my best friend.
Oh, man.
Absolute best friend.
And when that happened, you just know.
Well, I had to keep the family together.
Were you the main one that was holding... Wait, do you have any siblings or
I do
anything?
not.
You're an only child?
Me, myself, and I.
Wow, and you had a full ride scholarship.
Yeah.
So was it for nursing?
I was eventually gonna
Go into like veer
yeah.
off into that.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I guess everything has a way of working out. Essentially,
it does.
Okay, now we're going back into it. She kept that hidden, you guys. She didn't want to say her whole.
Sorry. I'm trying to be chronological.
No, we're gonna be bebopping. If you know anything, our conversations go bing, 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 bing.
Yes, that is me. That is me.
Okay, so she got you into the door because you wanted to be a nurse or criminal justice.
Yes, and like she always knew that I wanted to be a police officer.
Yeah.
And also too, like with Home Depot, they have a asset protection position. I always wanted to do that, and I never got picked because I don't know what it was, but every time a shoplifter would come in, I just knew it right off the bat, and I could just look at them, and I'm like, they're about to take that. And I don't know how many we call them recoveries.
Yeah.
Like thousands of dollars in tools.
Wow.
We would recover. And then when finally we got an asset protection, but I didn't put in for it that go around because I was like, I want to be a police officer. Like that's what I want to do. My uncle was a state trooper.
Really?
So and my dad, he was a dispatcher for state troopers.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How are you going all this time without telling me?
Because I don't know much about it because he graduated, or I'm sorry, he retired when I was such
at a young age.
Yeah.
So how did you find out that he was a dispatcher?
I mean, I knew he was a dispatcher.
So he never became an officer. He was just a dispatcher.
He had really bad back and neck, like real bad surgery.
Okay.
I think at one point, and I probably should clarify on this, but I really don't know. I think at one point he was trying to be a state trooper or he was a state trooper until his back, like he ended up having to have surgery on his neck and back.
Was it just something medical or was it something on the job? It was just medical?
It was just medical.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Man, I didn't know he was a dispatcher.
Yeah, he sure was.
Okay, I see why you're just like so good and keen with the dispatchers. Man, you just like... I'm getting the history behind everything. Okay, so you get your foot in the door and you get the application. Gosh, supply.
Yes.
Okay.
So she sent it to me. She said, they're hiring for this. And I'm not going to lie to you, too. When I lived in Opelika the first time, I thought about going to the police department. I looked up what I needed to do to be an officer, but I never pursued it. And then I moved away, which I'm glad that I didn't because it wouldn't have been the right time for me to do that because I needed that time to move away. And it's not necessarily just going to Dothan, but just anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
your headspace wasn't there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you got your foot in the door. How long were you in supply for? You got into supply what year?
2022. August 1st, 2022 was my first day, and then...
That's why I was like, I'm thinking about my badge number, like when you came in.
I felt so bad, and I know I shouldn't feel bad, but my grandfather... So I started on Monday, August 1st, 2022. On August 5th, which is a Friday of 2022, my grandfather passed away at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm at work, and I'm trying to keep my shit together, and oh my god, I felt awful. And I told my supervisor, and I was like, and I told him what was going on and stuff. And so
was it like something you were expecting, or this?
It was. He had cancer.
Oh, okay.
And so
my
mom called me, and I'm like, trying to keep myself together, and I got like a couple tears coming out, and he was like, "Did he pass?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Just go home for the day."
It was a Friday, yeah.
It was a Friday. He was like, and I was like, I just started this job. But see, that was before I really knew how the police department was.
Yeah.
Because
you were worried.
At Home Depot, that would have been like, okay, we don't care. Like,
those were the negatives in what you had with them.
Especially me being a supervisor too. When I left Home Depot, they would have been like, no, I'm so sorry, but come in. And so
that's why you were freaking out.
Yeah, I was freaking out.
Oh my gosh, on the first week that you started?
Yes, the first week I started.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know if I met you then or not. I would have given you a real big hug.
I don't think so. Like, a lot of people didn't know me. And, which, I mean, how are you supposed to expect them to know you when you're just back in supply? I mean,
okay, so where the way that supply is set up, it's all the way at the back end. And then, like, they have this huge, like, roller-up door. And so if it was shut, she wasn't there. And if it was open,
it's like a concessions window.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, hey, girl, how are you? Yeah, nobody's going to know you're back there.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't even know you had a computer.
Oh, yeah.
You had a computer, you had your own emails and everything.
TV screens. At one point, I had 2 computers and a TV screen.
Why did you have 2 computers? For inventory?
Because I would put I put different applications and pull them up, almost kind of like Dispatch does.
Yeah,
but on my big TV, I had an HDMI cord that I would hook up to my monitor, and then I'd hook up to the TV, and I'd put the cameras up there so I could see when people were like coming to supply. Or I really had it when they got the new camera systems, they can make you like a video wall, and I really got it so I could see when like 18-wheeler drivers were just sitting at the gate, because a lot of times they did that, not even called. And
I didn't know that.
I'd have no idea if they were there or not. So that way also too, I could see if they were sitting right there at the gate, so I could go outside and get them in and stuff.
But because it was just, you didn't have anybody working with you. It was just you, baby. You were carrying the whole thing.
It was.
And you always came there with a smile.
I loved it. I mean, even now, I love what I do now, but even now, if they told me, hey, we need you to work in supply, like for the day or the week, I'd be like, okay.
In the beginning, when you started, they did. I remember that. They're like, hey, I need somebody in the car supply.
Yeah.
But there was no complaining. I don't really remember who was before you, but it didn't go really well, I would say, because we really didn't have anything. Yeah. And I remember when we found out that you were getting promoted, right, you going to your new position as an officer, we were like, we were essentially
happy but
sad. We were so happy, but I was like, she just knows when we need something, and like she doesn't hesitate. Okay, you were the one that essentially built that shelf when I asked for it, and they finally gave it to me. And you were like, "I'm coming to build a shelf." I said, "You know how to do that?" She's like, "I'm gonna read the directions," and you did it, and you built it. Happy, smile on your face, and then the same thing with the air purifier.
Yes.
When we got it, baby, you know how hard I was fighting.
I know.
Yeah, and you were like, "Just get this one, X, Y, and Z. We'll do it." You took care of us all the time.
Yes,
so were you sad too when you left?
I mean, I was. I mean, it's bittersweet.
I like a bittersweet moment.
But like I was really happy
officer.
what I was going to. Well, that's the first time I transitioned.
The first time that you transitioned. Okay, let's talk about that.
Yes.
So you got in the first time when you tried.
Yes. And
did you pass the PT?
No, so I was very close.
Okay.
And so they've done it before where, we'll just work with them until they get there.
That happens to a lot of them, yeah.
And so, like me, like I kind of grew up on a farm a little bit. I mean, it was not like a farm, but I mean, it was
Explain
enough.
what's a farm and a farm.
So
for me, I'm a city girl, so I'm like, baby, are we having cows moving? Are we having chickens?
I mean, we had goats off and on. We had chickens.
You had some acreage.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of land.
But not like a farm.
Yeah.
Or you're
we had a lot of like hunting dogs. Like.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, we had like rabbits and
okay.
all types of crazy stuff. But anyway.
Okay.
And so, like, I say that to say that I've always been strong.
Yeah.
And I've never struggled. Like, even in gym, like, they'd always do, like, that presidential fitness awards or whatever they're called. Yeah. I would always get those because, like, I was just really good.
Yeah.
And
period.
I've never struggled with push-ups, sit-ups, anything like that.
Was it your run?
I suck at running.
Maybe so do I.
I played softball. And yeah, you run around the bases, but you really don't do that much running.
No, you're not a soccer player.
You just got to get around the bases really quick.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I can do that.
Yeah.
But like long distance running, I was like, man, I suck at this.
I'm freaking winded.
But I mean, I wasn't like bad off. I started off really bad off, but I got better.
Yeah.
And so I really wasn't bad off. Yeah. And so let's see, it was about March of 23.
Yeah.
And I went, and the reason I waited so long is because, and I don't blame her, and I respected it. My wife wasn't too sure about
you becoming
an officer.
When you got with her, did she essentially know that you wanted to be an officer?
I mean, I expressed it to her.
Okay, but this was
and
real.
Told her
this time.
Yes, and like she was really excited when I got the job. Which when I first got the job at the police department, I stayed at Home Depot for a little while because it was a huge pay cut.
Yep.
And I was just trying to keep our family afloat and all that. Mm-hmm. And so essentially I was working Monday through Friday at the police department, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Oh, it wasn't 7 to 4?
That job was 8 to 5.
Okay.
And then when I first started Home Depot doing both jobs, I was going into Home Depot. I'd go home for a little bit, try to take a nap. I'd go into Home Depot at 9 p.m. to 1 a.m.
And come back in at 8
and come back in at 8 in the morning.
Oh, baby, you really don't sleep ever for a while.
And I was doing that for a little while. Now I was able to adjust my hours some, and I finally got it to where I was coming in, like essentially right after the police department,
Yeah.
and then going home at like 10 or 11, which was better.
Yeah.
But anywho, so I had,
That's a lot.
yeah.
Because you had no sleep,
Yeah.
no time with your wife and your daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you had got in and she didn't really want you to do it.
Yeah, and then she started to learn
more about
like the ways of the police department, and she was like, you know what, if you're going to be an officer anywhere, I want you to be a police officer here.
Yeah.
And like she just really liked the people and like the community-based policing that we're really going to. Like she just really agreed with it, because I'm not gonna lie to you, like my wife, even now when she gets pulled over, if it's not 𝐒𝐭∫ she freaks out.
Oh, because it's just the narrative that's behind it.
And she's just had bad experiences with police, and I told her, I said, me too. Like, I've had bad experiences with police too.
There's good and bad everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, essentially, I was like, okay, you know what? And when I first started, people were like, when are you going to become a police? When are you going to become a police? And I was like, well, it's
a process.
It's in the plan,
yeah.
for sure. I want to wait until, because I'm the type of person like,
when you feel ready.
That, and if my wife doesn't agree with it, I mean, I'm not just going to go do it, you know? Like
respect.
I respect
what she has to say. Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're in this together.
Yeah.
We're trying to build this life together.
Yeah.
And so I swapped over in like, I think it was like March of 23.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're having to do PT every day, which is fine and all that.
For you. Okay.
And like, I never once passed a run. And I think a lot of it became that I couldn't do it, but that I didn't believe in myself that I could do it. So then,
although you were already on the other side, you still didn't believe that you could do it.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know why I thought that way. Like, I don't know if just maybe like the timing was off. Like for me,
usually
like
now when you look back at it, that's probably what it was.
Yes.
But when you were going through it, I'm sure it was like, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, which I'll get to it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I like to say everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely. With the way that we were talking about things, like
Yes. And I firmly believe that happened for a reason.
Yeah.
So May comes, we leave for the academy. You go on a Monday, you take the PT test, typically on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so everything's going great. So far I passed everything, then it comes to the run. And I did really, really good. And I missed my run time by 13 seconds.
Man.
That's all it was 13 seconds.
Holy crap.
So then you get a retest.
Yeah.
So
the next day or right there?
On Thursday was the retest. So you get 2 days.
2 days to recover.
So it's almost kind of embarrassing. And I'm going to say I probably needed it. Like I want to say it helps. Yes, because it was me and 2 other people that failed the PT test.
So you felt like that built your character.
70-something. So they separate us 3 from everybody else. Because then everybody has to start like double timing and stuff. And then here we are like looking like idiots, just
stupid. You took forever.
Yeah, because we're just walking with our stuff.
Yeah.
And like we have to sit separate from the class. Like
it's so terrible.
We're in the back.
You're essentially shunned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
And so then the test came on Thursday, and it had downpoured on Wednesday. And like I said, I think everything happens for a reason. And it got to the easiest thing, which was the obstacle course.
Yeah.
And you start with pushing a car. And I've never been able to push a car until then.
Wow.
When I pushed the car and I finished the obstacle course, I've never gone over, I want to say like a minute, 10 seconds. Like I've always been really good at that. Like I've never struggled with that.
Yeah.
But I struggled so much with pushing the car because my shoes kept slipping and my feet kept slipping.
Man.
And like my foot almost came out of my shoe at one point in time. Like it was awful. I missed it by 2 seconds. And so
everything is seconds.
The coordinator shook my hand and he said, you know what you got to do.
Oh.
And all I could think about is I've let down my wife.
Man.
My little girl doesn't know what's going on, but I just let her down. And
Man.
like all this, I was like, I'm going to be jobless. I'm going to have to figure out what to do. I was like, maybe I can go do construction with
Did
my
you finish
father-in-law.
Home Depot there?
So I wasn't working at Home Depot at the
You
time.
had stopped.
I had stopped once I swapped over.
Oh my gosh.
I put in my 2 weeks notice and I had stopped. Well, I knew that they would take me back, but it's like, who wants to take a step back? Like, I feel like that's a step back for me.
Yeah.
And
Because you were in this position,
Mhm.
and now you got to be like,
Mhm.
hey, it didn't work out for me at this time.
Mhm.
Now I need some help.
And so
Did your pride get in the way, you think? Or no, you were like, I have nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I need something.
yeah, I think I was just so upset with myself.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like feeling sorry for myself, but I was like pissed at myself.
Were you just more so disappointed because, like, your mentality went straight to your family?
Yes.
I let my family down like I'm a failure.
Yes.
Type of
And I'm
situation.
losing my job at this point and everything. And so I call who was in training at the time and I let them know what happened. And I contacted everybody I needed to contact, and then I contacted my wife and I told her, and I was like, hey, I was like, I'm packing up, I'm coming home.
Damn.
I was like, I'm really sorry. And she was supportive the whole time. She wasn't mad. Like I couldn't have asked for.
Did you lose it with her?
I did.
Because I mean, she's your safe space.
Yeah. And so like I kept myself on the phone together pretty well on the phone, like with the department and stuff, and they were like, just come back and we'll talk. And so I told my wife when I got close, and I got all my bags. I cried the whole way back. The whole like 2 hours and however long.
Baby, I figured.
Well,
were you by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely.
And so
cry wherever you want.
I texted our
cookie.
Yeah. I texted our cookie and I said, I'm so sorry.
Oh man,
I will never forget that.
That's one person that would never judge you.
I know, but I just felt like I let her down. I let my whole family down. Like, I just wanted to do something that my daughter would be proud of. I just want to be a strong female figure that my daughter could look up to like, yes, I can do anything, whether it's a male predominant job or whatever. Like, I can do anything.
Okay, so you would say, like, through your experience that first time, or really just all your time, there was no such thing as like, oh, females get treated differently type of situation.
I don't believe that.
Okay, good. Good. That's good to know, because in the position that you're in to work as an officer, you can't.
No.
You have to be just like everybody else.
Exactly.
You guys are one.
Exactly.
And you felt at that point you didn't.
Yeah.
You let everybody down.
Yeah.
Man.
And so I was like, maybe this isn't for me. Like, maybe this is a sign saying this isn't for me. But I was like, no, because I don't want to do anything else. Like, police is what I want to do.
It wasn't for you. Like,
yes.
right now.
Yes.
Okay.
So
when did you finally process that? Because I know
it took
must
some
have
time.
taken some time.
It took some time.
I remember when I found out. I don't even remember how I found out. I think I had seen her, you and 𝐞𝐞 together, and I was like, "Excuse me." She was like, and rightfully so, because we're really respectful of everything, all that stuff. Yes. And I was like, God, just let her know how much we love her, and that we're so glad she's here and not somewhere else, like alone, type of situation. And that was one of those things, because I bet even for you, of course, you cared more not about how you felt, but how everybody was looking at you.
And so that was another embarrassment, and I needed that. Like,
you needed that for you.
Yes,
for you. Okay.
I needed that. And so,
man, you work better with tough love, because what do you mean?
And so I come back to the department.
Yeah.
I unload my stuff out of the car, and I put it in my wife's car when she came to pick me up. And I go inside training, and then...
Was it day shift?
It was day shift. And so I start crying all over again. I'm like, I'm so sorry, y'all. Like, I gave a bad name for 𝐤𝐞𝐞 over there.
Oh,
like,
my God.
I've ruined it. I just ruined everything. Like, I'm awful. And so...
Okay.
So,
we laugh about that, but I get it.
Yes.
What's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Chief was out of town at the time. So Assistant Chief came in. He was like, let's go talk upstairs. And so he told me, he said, you could either be, he said, with what you've done for the department so far, he said, you can either go back to supply or you can go to dispatch if you want, because obviously it was going to be pay cut, but dispatch wouldn't be as much of a pay cut.
Yeah.
And I told him that I would like to go back to supply because respectfully, like, I can barely operate my own phone, much less operate 6 screens. And
yeah, because we had an opening at that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't.
God, I love that they still tried working you in, though.
Yes.
And not tossing you to the side.
That meant so much to me. And so that is another reason. So I started crying because of their generosity. Like, I was so
this whole time, like, oh, I suck. And you still want me?
Here I am, like, I'm a disaster. I was like, God, they're never going to want me to be a police officer for them because I can't even keep myself together. But at this point, like, because it made me really happy because I was like, okay, I'm not losing my job because I already got, our ID badge. I already got it out. Like, I was laying it on his desk.
Oh, my
and, like, I was
okay, because you weren't thinking that they would come and take you back.
Because I was trying to tell my wife where all my uniforms were so she could bring them back so I could just go ahead and turn everything in.
Oh, my gosh, on your 2-hour drive back?
Yes.
You were getting ready to
Oh, no. This is awful.
That is terrible.
I tortured myself for 2 hours on the way back thinking that I'm going to lose my job.
Sick of me. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Man, okay, but I would say, I think it has a lot to do with your work ethic and the person that you are and what you are contributing. There was no way that we could give you up.
And that's exactly what he said. And that really meant a lot to me.
You needed that.
Yeah.
Besides the embarrassment and shame.
Yes. And then Major gave me a couple of days off
to recuperate.
Yeah, to recuperate.
Mentally, yeah.
And I came back. And I was like, God, like, I'm not gonna want to come back. And my sergeant at the time, he was like, if anybody like messes with you, you let me know.
Absolutely,
like,
period.
We
all did.
I love him dearly.
All of us.
And I miss having him as
God, there wasn't anybody that picked on you, did they?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, if there was, you better let me know.
There was several people that came and talked to me and gave me encouraging words. 2 of them that stuck out with me that had similar situations.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, there's hope. Like, there is hope.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to work. And I could have gone back in the next class in September, but I didn't. Then
you didn't think you were that ready yet? No.
I didn't want to go.
Okay.
Then I could have gone back in January, but I didn't.
Okay. Were you scared?
No, I wanted to know and believe in myself without a doubt.
Okay, so you were picking yourself up.
Yes.
Man, this is a comeback story.
In this time, I started working back at Home Depot. I want to say in like September of 23, something like that.
Okay,
or maybe August of 23.
Oh my gosh, you were still working.
I started back working at Home Depot.
Okay.
And because I just needed something to keep us afloat.
You were doing essentially like escaping without escaping.
Yes.
Because you were just trying to focus on yourself.
Yes. And so, let's see, it was like I'm still like working out and stuff and trying to run. And then.
But your head wasn't in the PT test just yet. All those times that it was coming in.
It's getting there. It's because it's almost in my head that I had it blocked. That, like, you can't do this. Like, you're good at this, you're good at this, you're good at this.
And this is where it...
Yeah. But this run, you're never going to get this.
Oh, no, you weren't kind to yourself.
And so, training had a huge shakeup. And then the new training officer, he was like, you know what? Like, I want to get back into running myself. So me and him started coming in before work. We started going to the middle school track because it's a dirt track. And
is that where they do the PT test? Or the dirt track?
They normally do it at the high school because it's like a track.
Oh, okay.
But the middle school track, I mean, it challenges you more because it's like a sandy dirt track.
Yeah, it's like rocks and everything getting in the way, yeah.
And so he was like, we're going to do this. He said, I don't want to fall. We're going to start with a mile. Yeah. And he was like, we're not going to fall under a 10-minute mile pace. And so I tell him.
I'm listening to this and I'm like, already. Maybe I go up these stairs and I'm winded.
I tell him to this day too, like, and I credit him for helping because when I came back, we started, I believe it was like July. Yeah. The early July of 24. Yeah. I never failed a PT test. Man. I passed every one of them that we did. We started doing them every Monday. We would do them at the middle school track because I was passing them before I swapped over with his guidance and things that he helped me with, like with running form and stuff that he saw that I was doing. Because he started, when he got in training, he started doing a lot of like studying
Yeah.
into different stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I credit him with
Assisting you to
helping me with all that. And essentially, he helped me get rid of my mental block.
Mm.
And that's crazy.
Which
but
is the biggest thing
that
ever.
was the biggest
You're
thing.
your biggest enemy.
That was the biggest thing. And
when did you finally catch yourself to where you were like, yes, I can do it?
I think it was like May.
The May before the July that you
May
left.
before July. Because
Yeah.
I could have gone in May again.
You said
But I said no.
Mm.
I had started working out with the recruits
Mhm.
that were coming in with each class.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget it. The chief pulled me into his office for that May class that left.
Yeah.
And he said, if you want to go, you can go. He said, but let me know. And I said, I would like to go talk to my wife, and I'll come back and I'll give you an answer tomorrow. And so I talked with my wife about it, and I told her, I said, I know that I can pass the PT test. I
Yeah.
said, but I want to know without a doubt, because this is my last chance. She said, if you want to wait, that's fine. I said, okay. And so I went to the chief the next day,
Mhm.
and he said, all right, so you're going in May? And I said, no, sir. And he was shocked. He was not expecting that. Because he knew
that you were gonna,
he knew that I could do
absolutely
it.
I am, yeah.
I had it on a calendar that said January 1st, 2024, pass the PT test. That was my goal.
Mm-hmm.
By January 1st, I had to pass the PT test.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed it by a few days. But I still...
I missed it by a few days.
I passed it, though. And so...
You set your goal.
And so then, at the end of May, is when I was really like, okay, I know without a doubt I can do this.
Mm.
So even doing the PT test and like all the PTs through like our in-house training, those 8 weeks of in-house training, and then
Yeah.
every Monday you're doing a PT test, I still got nervous, but every week my time was getting better.
Yeah. The
And
run, which is essentially what always brought you down.
The run. And the 3 guys I was with, like, they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's not that I was with bad guys before, like, they were great. And
That goes back into, like, what you were saying, that everything has a time and a
Yes.
season.
Yes.
That you were finally, like, in a place where mentally you were prepared.
Yes.
You were surrounded by the right people.
Yes.
Man.
And so it comes to the day we go to the academy.
Oh, my God.
And then Tuesday comes and it's the PT test. And I'm telling them, I'm like, y'all, I'm so nervous. Like, I know I can do this, but I'm, like, super nervous.
Because it's you versus you.
Yes. And I was like, this is my last opportunity. But the next time that the coordinator will shake my hand and tell me anything is going to be when I walk across that stage to get my
baby,
certificate.
you said I'm taking it back.
Yes. And I actually said that in a speech later on in the academy, but we'll get to that in a minute. So we're doing the PT test. I'm not worried about push-ups, sit-ups.
You've
none of
always
that.
had no problem with it.
I've never been worried about that. A little worried about the obstacle course since that's what got me out
Okay, maybe
the
it's like slippery
first
and wet
time.
and like rain.
But everything is fine. I did great.
Okay.
And so it comes to the run, and one of my guys, they separate us by last name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of my guys is actually with me because I'm an L, he's a P.
Ooh,
And so I was like, okay, thank God. Like,
I have
I'm
been
running
right.
with somebody.
that we've been practicing together, yeah.
And so my Apple Watch, I never started the time, but I know when I start running, it vibrates at 3 minutes, it vibrates at 6 minutes, and it vibrates at 9 minutes
Why?
and 12 minutes to say, it looks like you're running, would you like to start a thing?
Oh.
And so...
Oh my God, you remember that?
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's
so
crazy.
I learned that in my 8 weeks of running and training and stuff, especially on Mondays when we would do the PT test. And so I learned what part of the track I need to be on when I feel that vibration.
That's crazy.
It is wild. But that's
Yeah.
how I did it. And so
My
the
God,
3
you
minute...
are pacing yourself to it. I need to,
To
be
a
in that
vibration.
corner and a vibration.
Yes, a vibration on
Lining
my
it
wrist.
up.
So, and also they were telling us our time when we come across, you'd have to screen your last name, and you had a number across.
Yeah.
I can't even, I think I was like number 42 or 48,
Oh my
something like
God.
that.
Yeah.
And so you had a number across your chest, and you had to screen your last name, what number you were, and what lap you were on, like as you're passing everybody.
Uh-huh.
And so
I
I'd
keep
always
up with all
hold
this,
up
you
like
know.
a 1 to be like, Ashley, like 42, number 1. Like I'm
Yeah.
always out of breath and stuff.
Yeah.
And so at the 3-minute mark, I was where I needed to be. 6-minute mark, I was where I needed to be. 9-minute mark, I was
Past it?
ahead of where I needed to be.
Because the vibration was off?
But in my head, I'm still freaking out.
Because you think you're behind.
I'm thinking I'm behind. And so I'm trying to hear as I'm running, like people in front of me, what times they're giving them. So the 12-minute mark came around. And typically in 12 minutes, I would be like right before my last lap.
Yeah.
I was hitting the 12-minute mark as I was going for my last lap.
Man.
And so in my head, I told myself, like, I have enough time,
To finish.
but I'm still doing it. I did it in 14 minutes and 32 seconds.
Period.
And so I still had almost a whole minute to spare. And I just remember my guy, he was off to the side, and I'll never forget it because he was screaming so loud for me. Like, he was so red in the face and screaming so loud. And when I passed it, because I was one of the last ones in that group, and I'm fine with being the last because, baby, I made it.
Okay. Who's holding me back? Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And so I just remember he, like, threw both hands up in the air and, like, he was like, I'm so fucking proud of you. And it's like,
And it's just like that moment where it finally came together.
and I was like, I made it. Like, I can't wait. I was like, can I go to the room now and, like, call my wife and let her know I made it? Like,
yeah.
But obviously that's not how the academy works. And so.
No phone. For what was it, 7 days? 7?
No, so we get to have our phone. You just have to be there for the first 10 days.
Okay, that's
and you
right.
can only have it, like, at night.
At
So
night,
it's a whole lot better than some people have it. So.
Did you have signal?
Yeah. And there's
Which
Wi-Fi.
Which one did you go to?
Northeast.
Oh, that's why. Because Gio went to the other one.
Oh, did he go to Selma?
I don't know.
I
Is
bet it was
there a
Selma.
university or a college with it?
There's a.
He went to the other one.
Oh, the Tuscaloosa one.
No,
Is where he went.
no, I don't know. We'll have to ask him. He had no signal, and the place
man.
it was like a motel next to the college.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So that's the
JSU.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, JSU.
Yeah, that's where I went. Like,
Okay, you
that's where
had
I went.
signal. What
Yeah.
company do you? Because I would be like, hello, and nothing.
Maybe they'll sponsor me. And just kidding.
She had some signal.
They had us Wi-Fi and everything.
Oh wow. Okay, so you got good treatment.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. I mean.
You had a better experience for what it was.
Yeah.
Man, you finally call your wife. Get to
Yes.
the room. You call your wife.
So they let us go for lunch, and I call my wife and I let her know, like, I made it. Like,
I'm not coming home
remember,
with my baby. Yeah.
I remember the first time when I went through and they let us go for lunch, and I couldn't even eat my lunch because I was just so disgusted with myself. And then this time I'm like eating this
Baby,
stuff up. I was like, I made it.
Yeah.
And like my roommate, like me and her both made it. And so might I add too that I just think this is also perfect timing because my roommate, my wife is Hispanic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, was she a Hispanic
She
officer?
was Hispanic.
Oh my god.
And I was like, this is perfect. Like, I almost feel like I'm at home in a way because at that point, too, my house is full of people.
Yeah.
Because my in-laws had to move in with us, which I also took as a blessing in disguise because then my wife had help with our little girl, especially when she went to go work because she was working
night
nights.
shift. Yeah.
And so
Man, because that's not what was happening before.
No, and I think a lot of it was I was just so worried about them and what they were going to do and, like, how am I going to help them all the way over here.
That time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so
man, everything was aligned.
It was like, man, and so I remember one night I'm on FaceTime. Well, my wife had just swapped she got one of those little, like, Google phones.
Oh, the big old pad thing?
Well, it's a little bit square and it, like, flips. And she
okay.
loves it.
Oh.
So we had to do, like, Google Meet because, I have an iPhone. And so I'm still trying to figure this out so we can, like, video chat and everything. And I'm video chatting her, and my mother-in-law gets on there, and she starts speaking Spanish to me, and I just speak the little that I know, like, back to her, like, telling her, like...
Just come into dispatch one day. I'll let you show my dispatchers, or see my dispatchers and how they talk Spanish.
Oh, Lord, I can only imagine with the ones that you
have. That I have. Okay, continue.
And so... I'm telling my mother-in-law, like, basically, like, I miss you, like, and she's, wishing me the best and, like, telling me, like, she's praying for me and stuff, and so my roommate was like, you speak Spanish? And she's married to a white guy. She was like, you need to teach my husband. And I was like, I am not fluent by no means, but...
No, you know a lot, though.
But, and I'm trying to get better with it.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna help.
It helps a lot.
It helps me.
Does it help you right now?
Yes, it does.
When you go to those calls.
It does. I mean, I worked hospital detail, and one night I was speaking Spanish to all types of people there that night. So it worked out.
That exposure worked out for you.
And so, like I'm excited, and me and my wife, we would always joke. My wife was like, "Of course I want you to come home, but I don't want you to come home until 10 days. So like stay up there." And so I told her, I was like, I'm happy to be here, but like I'm missing home.
Yeah.
And so it comes to the academy is in 3 phases. So your first phase, essentially, you don't get until after your first 2 weeks of being there, and you have to earn it. Well, we had a pretty good class.
Earn what?
Like
your privilege.
Yes. So we had a pretty decent class, and we did really good in the first 10 days. Like, a lot of it is you just need to be there. Yes. And we lost a lot of people in that, like in smoke sessions. They just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And
weed them out.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Weeding out the week. And I was like, can't nobody pay me to leave from here. Like I'm here.
I was shamed for this. I was embarrassed for this.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Period. Yeah.
And so we get first phase. They have like platoon. It's kind of like paramilitary.
Okay.
So they have like platoons and squads. So they get people who have that's like an E5 or greater in the military to be like your first set of platoon leaders and like squad leaders and stuff like that. Well, then you get to vote for president, vice president, and a chaplain and a secretary. And so we got that privilege on like our very last day to vote for who we wanted that to be. And it was kind of like mostly the military people in a way, but some other people too. Yeah. And so you nominate people, and they have to give a speech on why they should do that. So then when phase 2 comes and you do that again, I got nominated for vice president. And so I got up there and gave my spiel or speech or whatever on why I should get up there. But the whole time, like every time we're doing PT, like I'm trying to motivate everybody that's there. Like we had a couple of bad apples that couldn't stand people, but
try to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, they would. But if you'd really sit down and talk to these people, like I did, like you just learn and gain their respect. There's more to it.
Yeah.
And so, like I gained so much respect from them, and I feel like they gained respect for me too because they were confiding in me in a way, but. So I didn't get it. It was just fine. I mean, I wasn't there I wasn't even expecting that or anything like that. Like, I'm not going to lie to you in the very beginning. And, you know, they got all these awards too. I know I'm like all over the place with this, but like the very first day, they're telling you all these awards they have, which is like academic award. And honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. That's why I tried to get the academic award because like, I like to think I'm pretty smart. Like, I was always smart in school. Like, I like to try to do my very best in everything that I do. And so they have firearms. I knew I wasn't going to get that because I'm not a bad shot whatsoever. I mean, I qualified very well. Yeah. But
it wasn't something you were interested in.
There's some people, they don't miss whatsoever. And so,
you're like, nah,
yeah, so I already knew I wouldn't get that. And then they have the director's award, which is literally pretty much described on the paper. I should have brought the paper in to like read off exactly, but it's the most prestigious award.
Wow.
And it's given to like the recruit who shows like the most leadership. Like they may not get the academics. Or we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
You have me on a corner.
And so they don't get firearms. They don't get academics. Yeah, and I was like, well, I'll never get that. Like academics, I could do. I could do academics. And so like every test, like I'm studying my ass off. Like I'm looking at all these Quizlets. Like my wife is helping me study. Yeah. Like there's all these people helping me study, and I do really good on all my tests. And so then phase 2 comes. Like I said, I was nominated for VP, didn't get it. So then phase 3 comes, and I was nominated for class president.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get the vice president. Now you're surprised that you get nominated.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, I accept.
Period.
And so I get up there to give my speech.
Wait, why do you have to give the speech? They nominate you, and then you had to be like, yeah, I am a good nominator.
Well, then they have to vote between, like, who all they nominate. Because it's multiple
okay.
people that they nominate.
Okay.
And then they had to vote. I got up there. And I lost it. I started crying.
Wait, what?
Because I told them, I said, I tell y'all all the time that I'm so happy to be here. Like, I hear some of y'all complain about being here. You just want to get through the academy. You just want to get over with it. I said, but let me tell you why. Like, I love to be here, and I will be here every second of every day. And I gave them my story. And I said, and I told them in the end, all while I'm boo-hooing like a little baby up here.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that man right there, I refuse to shake his hand until I walk across the stage to get my certificate. And everybody was like, wow. And so then another guy gets up there that they've also nominated, and he's like super funny.
Yeah.
And like, he's just one of those types of guys, like everything he says is just super funny, but like super sincere. So they voted, and they counted the votes, and it was a tie between me and him.
Wow.
So one guy had to leave a day early to go to like a doctor's appointment, so they called him to see what his vote would be.
Are you kidding me?
And he voted for the other guy, which is fine, completely fine. So
you didn't get it.
I didn't get class president, which is fine.
God. You're not allowed to tell any more stories because you had me up here like, ooh, she got it. She got it. You did it.
I didn't get it. It's fine. It's the thought that counts. But it's...
Man, you really know how to sell something. We need to put you in sales.
Well, I worked at Home Depot for 8 years,
so... You're out here like, yeah, and I didn't get it. The whole time I'm thinking you did. No. Okay, well, you don't get that one.
I didn't get it. So then...
Okay, you didn't get it. So phase 4 comes along. Right, it's 4 phases?
No, it's 3.
Just 3?
It's just 3.
Okay, never mind.
And so we're wrapping up the academy. We're kind of mostly doing like out in the field stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets like to graduation, and you find out, obviously on Firearms Week, which is week 7, you find out who's going to get the Firearms Award.
Yeah.
Well, then after you take your final test, they give you
academic.
They give you a report card, and it has it on there. Mm-hmm. So then you go and you do like graduation practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so they call out the awards, but they will not call out the director's award.
Oh,
so
man.
they also have too at the end, like you can vote because they kind of already know who they want to be it, but they also want their class to have a vote in it too.
Oh, okay.
And so a bunch of people were like, Lashley, we're going to nominate you. And I was like, I really appreciate that, but I really think this guy from Auburn's going to get it. And I mean, he deserves it. And I'd be more than happy if he got it. Like, I'm so happy for him because he's the one who got chosen for our president to give a speech at the academy. And so we're doing the practice, and we run through it twice, and of course, they're being funny because they won't say it and stuff.
Yeah.
But they just want the people who get the awards to know what they need to do and stuff like that because they're super particular about stuff. Well, then graduation comes, and everybody's been telling me, like my guys, they were like, "Oh, you're getting it. Like if you don't get it, something's wrong. Like you're getting it.
You're our winner."
Yeah, you're like you're getting
really
it.
Are,
like there's gonna be no doubt that you're gonna get it. I was like,
if
I don't know,
tell
guys.
Me, I promise you, if you tell me and you're building me up for the story and tell me that you didn't get it, I'm gonna lose it.
Well, don't get your hopes up. But
so you didn't get it?
We'll get there.
You didn't go. You're like Grayson, just
we'll get there. We'll get there. So my uncle that was a state trooper.
Oh my gosh, did he go?
He came. Anything police, he's in it. Like he's 100% in it.
Yeah.
He absolutely loves it. So I told him, I was like, hey, I didn't tell my family. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. I didn't tell my family until past week 11 that I was even in the academy.
Oh my god. I mean that sounds like you. You left. You're leaving.
Yes.
Oh, it's a surprise.
Yes.
I'm graduating.
That's it. And so I told him. And so my uncle, he was so excited he came. And it was really nice because he was my dad's brother. And so it really felt like a part of him was there. Yeah. But our cookie surprised me. Her and her whole family came in. She texted me after the fact. And she said, I was filling in for your dad today. And she will never know how much that meant to me that day.
Oh my gosh, she told you that? Stop.
Yes, she did.
Because the reason why we're both tearing up now, so she told me a month before. Because we were looking at the schedule. We were in dispatch together, and I was like, hey, are you going to go? She's she's going to graduate this time. Like, you know, that whole thing that happened. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to take off. I said, okay, what are you doing? Da, 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 whatever. And I was like, do not tell that girl that you are freaking going. She didn't. Yeah. She's so good at secrets. And she told you that?
Yeah, she told me that
after the fact. Okay, how were you when she came? When you found out that she was even in attendance, because she was wearing her uniform.
She was. So she was hiding, and there was so many people that came. Like, you know, my old sergeant came.
No, you can't see. You can't see.
There was like all of training came. Like, so many people came, and I was like, wow, like this many people hasn't came to a graduation in like so long. Like, I feel so special, and also to have the support for also the other 3 guys that I was there with. Like, it meant a lot. And so all of our families sat together in a section. Yeah. Because we try to get all of our families together, because we're trying to get all of our like wives to know each other, like parents and everything.
Yeah, because you guys were this tight.
Yes.
You know, all those
and
things.
Like one of them's mom, like I started calling her mom, and like every night he was on the phone with her, I was like, I love you, mama. Like she just became like our mom.
Yeah.
And so graduation, they call up, because my guy that got the academic award, because 𝐲𝐿𝐴 got academic award, he wanted to keep it a secret from his wife, and we respected that. So it was a secret. So his name got called, and like she was like, oh my God, like I had no idea he got that.
My Hernie Bernie, yeah.
So they do the firearms, they do the academic, and then they do directors. And so I'm sitting there, and it starts setting in. I was like, man, like maybe I could have got this. Like, my heart at this point is pounding so hard.
Because it could be either or.
But like I said, either way,
so happy.
I would be fine either way. Whoever got it, I'd be so happy for. Mm-hmm. And so they say, like, the director's award.
You're just hanging me on a thread here. Come on.
And so they read out the description for the director's award. Uh-huh. And so they're like...
Oh my God, I'm an idiot. You did get it because you said, I should have brought the...
Well, no, I'm saying, like, because they give you a list of awards and how you get them.
Okay.
It's like a little orientation packet.
Okay.
And so they read and they say, officer, in my idiot mind, I'm expecting to hear not officer, but like name. And I was like, oh, well, my name's not officer.
Not officer, that's not my name.
And then he says Keely S. Lashley, and I said,
oh my God, I got goosebumps. You did get it.
I did get it.
You little butthole.
I
did. The whole time you were holding it.
I did get it. I almost brought it with me. I should have brought it with me.
Oh my gosh.
And
you have your family and everybody there.
And so
stop. You didn't even know you were getting it.
And I told my wife, I was like, I really don't think I'm going to get it, but I might actually get it. My wife told me that when they started calling out the award, because my daughter was laying on her, because she was just really struggling. Just being with a whole bunch of people and stuff in general. Yeah. That she scrambled to get her phone out of her purse, because she said, I knew you were going to get that award. And so she's got me like going across the stage and stuff. And so I go back and I sit down. And like I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so happy, and I just knew in that moment, I was like, I wish my dad were here.
And that's the one that you just wanted.
Yeah, and like tears are just coming out of my face, and I was like, hold it together, because you still got to walk across stage to get your certificate.
You're not officer.
You're not done yet. Yeah. And so, yes. And I finally got my certificate.
And then you see everybody. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And Cookie's there. She surprises you. And she told you that?
And
because she knew how much you wanted your dad to be there.
Yes.
Man, golly.
Yes.
Cookie, you just know. That woman just knows.
She just knows.
Man, I'm so glad that she was able to go and be such a special part of it.
And not just her, but her whole family.
Oh, yeah. I love their whole family. The whole thing. You had your family. You had her family. Because she was there the whole time.
It was great.
Even when you were, like, going through the motions. Yes. Like, she believed in you and you didn't believe in yourself.
And she wasn't, like, she would tell me, when are you going back? Not are you going back? Because she knew that I was going to go back.
And she literally is that person.
Because some of them, they were like, are you just going to stay in supply forever? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm going on my time.
That's right.
And
I like that.
That's what I did.
Time period.
And so the time was right, everything. And I even told the guys, we were driving. I would drive most of the time of us to the academy. Sometimes one of them would drive back.
Why? Why are you?
So I get really bad car sick.
Okay.
And
excuse me. Why are these men not driving?
And so did the other one.
Okay. So you guys took turns.
So I didn't trust the other one to drive. I'm not gonna lie. I love him to death.
I'm like, I can't wait to find out who these three stooges are.
And so, but yours, that's on your shift, he did drive us back a couple times.
Oh, okay.
And they did offer. So don't think that they didn't. They did offer. But I told them, I was like, I'm fine. I was like, unless y'all just don't want me to drive, that's fine too.
You were this person who was driving 2 hours to Home Depot, so why wouldn't you drive?
On our last day of like the last in-house training after the academy, like I went and I hugged them, and I didn't expect it to be like so bad that day. Like I hugged them and I was like, I love you guys. Almost.
I was like,
because they were all going to A side at the time, and I was the
were
only
you
one
the
going
only
to
one
B
at
side.
B-side?
Yes.
Oh.
So I was like, I'm never going to see y'all.
That's right.
I was like, I just spent from July 1st to the end of November, or at that point.
With you guys.
Yeah, at that point, it was like the end of December with these guys. Like, I've really bonded with y'all, and now.
I gotcha.
No,
but I remember, like, because I found out where you were going, and me and Cookie were talking about it, and we were like, man, like, we're so sad because you're going to be apart from us, you know, because we're both on A side. But we were just so excited for you because we knew that you didn't care where you ended up. It didn't matter where you ended up.
I really didn't care.
Because you were just so thankful to be an officer. You finally made it.
So happy. If they told me to go work 12.25 hours, like guarding the roof of the police department, I would have done it.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, but I mean, you were very thankful, and like everything that you went through taught you so much.
It did. And
you are someone who walks in through the door, and you are just humbled from beginning to end. If you see something that's off the wall, or you see some people that are off the wall, you just and you leave. And I mean, that's one of those greatest things. You know how hard it is to do that without saying anything? Yeah. I mean, you are definitely put your back into everything that you do. You've always been a hard worker. Now I understand why you tell me that you'll sleep when you're dead.
Yes.
Because you've always been a hard worker.
Yes.
You said no. Touch on that really quick. You said that you haven't always been a hard worker.
No, I meant like, I have.
Okay.
I mean, even when, because I worked part-time, started working part-time at Home Depot. I mean, I would try to get full-time, and they just never had it to get.
When did you start working? What age?
18. I was still in high school.
Oh, okay. So when you started.
Yeah.
But you finally made it as an officer. What's the best feeling about it?
I think genuinely, because a part of me, I've always wanted to help people. And whether I would have done that in nursing or police officer, I mean, people call us because they're literally having like the worst day of their life. Nobody calls us to tell us, hey, how are y'all? I love y'all. Merry Christmas, happy birthday. Like they always call us because something really bad is going on to them. And even though it may not seem like bad to any of us, like you still have to treat it that way. And I feel like I have a caring nature to where I can make them feel like we've actually done something. Because I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a call and they've told me, oh, well, y'all came out here for this last time, or they dealt with somebody else with a completely different other agency, and they just had a really bad experience. And I straight up tell them, like, hey, I had bad experience with police officers too. Like, let me tell you about it.
Yeah.
And
you go and having you establish that connection.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, like,
settle down a little bit.
Like, and I can't tell you how many times, like, I've been dealing with people and just offering them or giving them a compliment just
changes everything.
Changes them.
And you're still learning your way, but you're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because I know you like observing and like seeing different things and how people work.
I do. And I was telling you a little bit earlier, like, I'm still trying to gain my confidence and like what I can do. Like, I know what I can do, and I know the law, and
you
I
just
know
don't
all
want to
that.
hesitate.
I just don't want to hesitate, and so that's why I like also backing up officers so I can see and observe like what they do, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and put myself and I try to like play the call back in my head, and that's why I watch my body cam so much too, because
I didn't know that you did that.
I try to take so many notes of, man, I should have done this here, but that's okay. Like, I'm going to remember this. And
you learn a lot from your mistakes.
Yes, and that's literally what I've told like my FTOs like the whole time. I was like, I am going to learn by being hands-on, messing up, and learning from it.
I needed to be shamed. not gonna get over that.
Oh,
man. But man, I'm just so proud of you because, like, again, I started 21. I'm 21, 12. I started in 21. I remember when you came in, and like I grew close to you because of 𝐓𝐡𝐞. Because 𝐓𝐡𝐞 met you, she was already in patrol.
Yes.
But she dealt with you a whole lot more because of supply, and then
Yes.
she knew that you worked in Home Depot. She worked night shift, all those things.
And she was on light duty at the time too, so we got to see each other a lot.
A whole lot more than what it was. And it's just all of us like have such a great relationship, and it's so fantastic, like seeing you guys in your elements. I just love what I do. And that's some of those things where a lot of people try to shame you for liking what you do. And a lot of people tell me all the time, they're like, you're working too much, like you're gonna burn yourself out. Enjoy it right now. And you'll know when to stop. I think you know yourself better than anybody else. And I genuinely don't think that you'll ever stop. I will ever be burned out from this job. I think you have a good balance too, though. Like, I know that you and your wife right now like are working a little bit opposite. Yeah. But you've always put them first, and you really do everything. Like, you go ahead and you tell her essentially what your plans are. Yeah. She knows that you're working all this overtime. Yeah. And she's completely fine with it. And I was, for the first time in a while, I was able to take them to the beach almost 2 weeks ago. And like that was so nice just for the three of us to get away and leave. Yeah. The whole time we have been married, we have not taken a vacation, just the three of us. Man, you guys were just hustling. We've gone with other people, but this was just you guys. But it was just us. Did you feel good? Did you feel safe in your element? Yes. It was wonderful. Because it's not like you were burnt out at work. It was just more so just prioritizing them. Yeah, and just getting away. And yes, it was on my 4 days off, so we were only gone for 4 days, and the next day I'm right back to work. That's a long time. That's fine. Yeah. And so we've actually already planned another one for September, a whole week in September. Oh my god. So I'm actually going to take time off for it. Can you believe it? I'm going to take some time off. Oh, yeah, I can't believe it because you're consistent. I'm like, I saw you on my 4 days, and now you're on your 4 days, and now I'm looking at you again. Yes. You're really but I wouldn't even say that you're like a bad workaholic. Because you come into work, you're like, yep, I'm ready to work. It's not like, I gotta work, I gotta pay bills. Yeah. I think it's just because you enjoy it. Like, I genuinely love what I do. Man, I love that. Like, I couldn't imagine me doing anything else. So if there's one thing that you can say, that you just, from everything that you've experienced, what is it that you would tell to somebody else that's going through struggles, that's going through the motion of battling, like, what you like, what you don't like? I would just tell them not to give up, and also not to be so hesitant to change something. I know a lot of people are afraid to change, but sometimes a change is what you need. I mean, it goes back to when I was 18, or I wasn't 18 at the time. I was like 19, 20, moving away all the way. The hardship shaped you. Yeah, it did. Did you think that if you didn't go through that hardship, you probably wouldn't be here today, what you were doing? I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I wouldn't have gone through all this crap to... Essentially, because you know yourself. I love the confidence that you have behind what... Like who you are. I'm telling you, you know what it is to be in our work environment, and a lot of people's identity is a little bit shifted, everybody. There's no hiding behind the badge. You like literally essentially are like represent what the badge is, what it should be, right? Because there's bad apples everywhere. But the fact that you come in every single day and you're just happy to put on a uniform, and you're thankful. I'm so happy. Because there's people that complain. No, I'm so thankful, blessed, rich, whatever you want to go ahead and put it on top of it. Grateful. I can't wait to see how far you grow. I'm so excited. And go. There's so much that you can do. There's no stopping you. It's like, and when I first got onto the street, like, I was sad when my first set of 4 days off came. I was so sad. Are you serious? I was so sad. I was like, I want to go work. Was that when you were in FTO or when you were released? Yes, when I was in FTO. Oh, okay. I was so sad when my first set of off days came. I wonder if every rookie feels that way. I don't know. I know. I feel like everybody's excited to go on the road. Like, if you really want to do this, everybody's excited. Like, I was really sad. I was like, man, like, I really want to go back to work. That's crazy. I did not say that when I got released from training. I really want to go to work. Baby, I really wanted to go home. but we work two opposite sides. You know how it is. Man, I learned so much from you. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining in on the Stories We Carry. If you enjoyed this podcast, let us know what your favorite part was. If you have any questions for 𝐾𝐞, go ahead and drop them below as well. She'll answer them.
Yes,
we'll get back to you. I can't wait for you guys to essentially just know who she is. I love her so much.